There he is, the most threatening lord in all the green skin roster. Versus all this nonsense, Blue Marauders and a Lord of Change. Here we go. Alright. And what are we doing? We're doing a bum rush boys build. What does that mean? Lots and lots of boars, lots and lots of boys to follow up. Got some sneaky boys going on the side. And like I said, it was Exalted Change. Polygriff makes sense. Tzeentch Firestorm, I don't understand. Pink Fire makes sense. And he only has the... I don't know. This player seems to knows what he's doing. He's expected the Green Tide. He's got plenty to counter the Green Tide. 4 blues, bunch of Marauders, and a bunch of more Marauders. 4 spears, 4 shields. So it's not like... I don't know. I don't know. I really was expecting, and I'm pretty sure some of you were, especially with the DLC, lots of Zangors and lots of... What are those? Or what is it? The Vortex Beast. The Vortex Beast is what I thought I was going to see. I would have traded in this Lord of Change for Exalted Hero. Well, the Sorcerer Lord. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord. Pretty sure I just said it right. Yeah, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, I would have brought that with the Vortex Beast and everything here. And just try to outgrind. There's really no reason to bring a Lord of Change. Honestly, demons are just in a really rough spot right now. Most demons aren't worth their price point, in my opinion, because they're just too glass cannon. They really are. They're really good support units, and that's about it. You really can't build a front line with them. You can't really build a... Well, I guess you could do a backline if you're Tzeentch. And only if you're Tzeentch, really. Blue horrors with 160 models are a pain in the ass. And here we go. Trying to surround this lord with nothing but anti-large. And there you go. 40 weapon strength with 16 anti-large. Yeah, we're going to grind this boy down. Going to try to rampage him, lower his melee defense with the Tormentor Sword. Keep him there. While that's going on, the blues are raining hellfire on us. But we're going to fire back. Bring in the Black Orcs. Unipsychology, huge armor, lots of weapon strength. Just bruisers all around. And I love them for it. And this is what they see, just all that, and they don't give a fuck! In the back, we came charging in with the Boar Boys. Only to be met with Screamers. What are those? Chaos Warriors with halberds hiding in the bushes. More Screamers, Screamers. So I tried to get my boys out of there. But since he's busy with that, we're going to take his lord to the bank. The Blood Bank! Alright, sorry about that. That was pretty cringe. But no, we're going to kill the shit out of it. While that's going on, the Black Orcs are here. They can grind through most, if not all this, with help from the Goblin Arrow Boy, or Goblin Arrows. Arrow Boys, like they were Boar Boys. Or Boar Boys, like they were orcs. And yeah, just bum rushing. And this is one of the big complaints I hear about with these maps. They feel like lane maps. Basically like, what is that game? What is that Now, I don't want to say anything too harsh, but... My brother plays that game too, I forget what it's called. It's the 3-lane map game, the one that's really famous, I forget what it's called. But anyways, the reason I don't know the name is because the game sucks ass. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Here we go with some Furies trying to get into my back line. Rightly so. We're going to start shooting those boys down. Screamers not sure where to go because all the Boar Boys are gone. Opponent's up almost 1,000 value, but we're catching up thanks to all these arrows. Furies knocking down. Poor goblins. Why would you do that, opponent? It's so mean. Yeah, unfortunately, Greenskins aren't great at sniping lords, so even though we did do a terrible amount of damage to that Lord of Change, we only cut it barely, almost in half. It's a real shame. Just filling up these lines with nothing. My opponent used up all his ammo, doesn't know what to do. No more blues for you, Chief. Chaos Warriors got met with those ankle shankers in the side here. And now we're just all over. Ankle Shankers plus the Boar Boys in the back. So yeah, these Chaos Warriors aren't going to pay for themselves. So I was wondering, like, my opponent doesn't have anything coming right now. He could keep throwing in those blues, but it doesn't really serve him much of a purpose. Matter of fact, I think it's better just leaving him on the side there so he can intercept those Ankle Shankers, the nasty Skulkers. And then you have two things of Black Orcs right here. Yep, me just straight up bundling up, but I saw he had Inferno and not Inferno. He had Firestorm. Firestorm sucks ass. And here's why. I think he's doing more damage to his units than mine. And that was just a weird call for his army ability. I mean, if he does it on top of the Black Orcs, he does get the blues, but the blues are damn near gone anyway, so just move them. I don't know. It was just strange. It was really strange. Maybe he misclicked. Like, I want to say it was a bad call, but my opponent's clearly competent. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get things done. But there's just, like, I don't understand. Like, the Screamers should be going after the Giant right now. They should be smoldering that Giant, or at least hitting my Lord. But no, he's trying to just deal with the numbers, which I can understand. There's a lot of Goblins, there's a lot of Orcs, but we're catching up in value now. Okay, there he goes, jumping on my Lord. So yeah, he knows what to do. Or if anything, just sell off the units you aren't using. If you can't make use of them, just get rid of them. And here come the Boar Boys on top of those. Yep, the Screamers aren't going to live long now, especially with the wall on top. Yep, they are super dead. 40 meaties. It's anti-large. We're going to run through them. We're going to say hi to this Lord of Change with the Giant. And just get into his spawn with the Black Orcs. And yeah, with that Exalted Lord of Change, he could try sniping so many of my units. There goes a pink fire, finally. Get a number on those. And the Firestorm. I don't know. Firestorm just sucks. I don't know why he brought it. I mean, if you really... I mean, with how many blues he's brought and how many Marauders, he's more likely to do friendly fire with it anyways. But if he brings a Fertile Gateway, I have so much time to respond, he might not get as many units as he thinks. Or I could just run through him. And by run through him, I mean run through his unit so I could dodge it. Yeah, it's just... I mean, there are a lot of units to micromanage. And that can be very difficult for a lot of players. It's not like playing... Because I play a lot of Chaos. If you're new to the channel, if not, you know what I play. I play a lot of Chaos play, a lot of melee builds. It's very micro-intensive. You have to be on point. But you don't have that many units. At most, maybe 8 units? 8 to 10 units? It's not that bad. But then you play... I mean, you could go more, but... With all the elite units you want to play against certain factions, makes sense. And how expensive their lords are. But yeah, back to what I was saying. Just going massive wide with a unit roster that could be for anywhere from 15 to 20 units, lord included. Yeah, that could be a nut buster to a lot of people. That's a real grind, especially with this many Boar Boys too. That's why I was saying I was expecting a Mutilate Beast, because that's really the best thing right now to deal with all my shit. If he would have just brought that. My opponent does have Zangor. As a matter of fact, I think they're on the field right now. So it's not like he doesn't have the DLC. So I don't understand why... Why not? That's why I brought the Giant, just to deal with him. Should have actually brought just 2 Orc Boy Big Guns, but I don't think those would have worked. Especially with all the Screamers too. It's a real rough matchup. I mean, I have so many Boar Boys. I think the Screamers does make sense. But he could have just swapped out... I mean, he would drop like 2 Marauders, I think, and the Lord of Change. Well, no, because the pink on disc, it's got to be around like, what, 22? If you take all the spells and good shit, the necessary shit, which my opponent really didn't bring. Because this Exalted's probably the same price, but not as good, honestly. I mean, it's alive, it's doing work, but I'm not really impressed. I don't feel like it's been that impactful. But it's if I could have sniped it, man. If I would have sniped it, yeah. This game would have been a lot quicker. Now here's a little tactic I have. Just overwhelming my second objective. Drawing in my opponent. Trying to get him to go to this other objective. Leading all his units. But you'll see in just about a second the little tricksiness I got going on. Alright, come on opponent. Yeah. Unsummoning like the bastard I am. By the time he gets there, it'll be too late. Come on, boys. There's no threat over there. The threat is over here with these boys. Get some boar boy big guns. And some other stuff going on the side. Get those Zangors. See, I told you. Hit down those screamers with nothing but more boar boys. Get into their backs and then just watch them crumble. Goodbye, screamers. That's how you get a free 700 unit. Yeah, blue's coming in, but the giant's gonna cause so much terror, it ain't even fair. And then that screamer and Lord of Change that went to go chase those units are just gonna sit there while I go terrorize those Zangors. Still with the Black Orcs and the Ankle Shankers down and his spawn. Not only that, big point, the units on the other objective right now, the one he took originally, the one that no one's fought for up on that hill, he should have sent those units down. He could have intercepted a lot of my units had he just sent one or two of them. But to be fair, with the way the spawns are, he doesn't know how many nasty skulkers or what are those, I forget what they're called. Squig hoppers, there we go. Squig hoppers could have just jumped on top of him, so it's a real gamble. I mean, look how many boar boys I've been sending, too. There's just, and not only that, he's got to go through, what, a giant? More nasty skulkers? More boar boys? So I kind of understand why he doesn't come down, but he could have the Lord of Change and the Screamers help transport him. But while he's doing that, I take the other objective. So yeah, on a small map like this with such a maneuverable army, there's a lot of tough things going on. But yeah. If he would have brought... Yeah, I think the Sorcerer Lord on a horseback would have been fine. He could have summoned in some spawns to my back line, or just terror routing my boys by hitting them in the back with those spawns. Would have easily broken my line. I probably, if I seen that Sorcerer Lord, I would have waited then. So I had a giant or some more for the Black Orcs. Send those boys in. Had a good time. Or just keep the 4 units of boar boys reserved to countercharge any summons. Yeah, it's tough for my opponent. God, Greenskins are just so good against chaos, honestly. So cheap and trade so efficient. I mean, look at this. My opponent had this in the blinking of an eye. It's gone. And I think he's out of Winds of Magic because he hasn't dropped a single spell in a minute. It's just brutal. Real buster. And then the Wah, man, I just feel bad. Yeah, those Angors are just getting hit by those boar boys. These poor boar boys, they're not going to go anywhere. We just don't have the mass to cut through all these Screamers. And we want those Screamers there. We're going to get rid of them because getting rid of all 3 Screamers is great. My boys are going to, yeah. They're going to flee, but we can always unsummon them and get them back cheaper than those Screamers. And then the boar boys and ankle shankers can run free. Yup, Marauders coming in. And look at those. Look at these on the hill. They could have moved down by now. I got nothing. Well, nothing that my opponent doesn't know about. Lord of Change is terror routing a good chunk of my units. Yep. These boys are suffering. But wait. The hero I needed! Goblin Warboss. Helping out with all that leadership issues I got going on. Yeah, we're gonna do some real damage now. Tormentor Sword, Loons, Anti-Large. Here we go. And we're just gonna slow these boys down with a nice big charge. Big charge! Ooh, yeah. Rampage that boy. Get that Lord out of there. Ankle Shaker's coming in. I don't see too much. Those boar boys getting their luster back to come in for another charge. Oh no, we're not gonna send him into the spears? Well, that makes sense. You're gonna send him that line of boys, marauders and shit. Should do nicely. Finally, at the end of the game, a little too late, my opponent sends in the marauders with spears. Good job, opponent, but it's gonna be too late. I think anyone with eyes. A blind man could see it, cause, yup, exactly what I said. I could summon in units and he wouldn't be able to intercept. Blackwork's coming in from the spawn into his stuff, which he probably couldn't see. So that makes sense. Yeah, that was rough. I don't know why he didn't have Marauder Horseman. Marauder Horseman, just to help steal objectives, would have been fine. But I guess, yeah. With my experience with Marauder Horsemen, they don't exactly have the staying power, and they're just not fun to use. A lot of micromanaging. It's, like I said, it's already tough to micromanage this many units. And when you're against this many units. When you're against the green side, yeah, it can be a real nutbuster. Spears, 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 coming in. Orc boar boys to intercept. As long as they're not in a defensive stance, we should be fine. And if they do go defensive, well, these goblins are going to stop them dead in their tracks. Look how close they are to the objective, too. Just barely, barely. Oh, poor bastard. Poor bastard. Yeah, but we're going to finish up here soon, because after this charge, it's pretty much over. He's not capping anything. There's nothing else to do, so let's move on to the value. Sorry, folks, who want to see that played out, but it was just it was a massacre. Sad little massacre. And yeah, my boys got their value. Wow, even one of them triple. Damn near. Boys did good. Goblins, I'm not surprised, but the goblins are cheap. Goblins are fodder. Goblins are there to take all that damage. Yeah, it's brutal. Giant didn't do jack shit, but it didn't take a lot of damage. Black orcs pay for themselves. I had had the caster. Probably should have summoned him in after I lost the Lord. Honestly, he was cheaper, I think, at 1150. And yeah, it's just my opponent needed to bring anything. He needed the Vortex Beast. That's all I'm saying. Vortex Beast. I mean, I would have missiled it down, but it's better than. I mean, the damage it would have done would have broke my front line and just had rain over the center objective. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that. Like, sub, help me build this channel. We're almost on 500, the road to 500. Help me out, folks. Alright, with all that said, y'all have a good one. Peace and goodbye for now.